Welcome to the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast. My name is Katie Dodd, and I'm a nutrition entrepreneur. I spent 7 years as a side hustler before diving into entrepreneurship full time. Before making the leap, I was bringing in 6 figures through my side hustle. If I can do it, you can too. This podcast is for dietitians, interns, and students who want to be inspired to start or perfect the side hustle of their dreams. Let's do this. Hello and welcome to the 289th episode of the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast, Chapter 2 of the Dietitian Side Hustle book. Now, I aired the first chapter of the Dietitian Side Hustle book back in episode, let me look it up. It's episode 272. And I wanted to share another chapter, and this is one that is near and dear to my heart. I'm going to drop it in just a minute. It's going to be a 32-minute recording. And this chapter is called Let's Start With You and Mindset. Now, the core of everything that I do in my brand Dietitian Side Hustle is starting with mindset because it truly is that important. So in this chapter, I dive into starting with why. I talk about vision boards and why I love them so much. We talk about strengths and weaknesses, limiting beliefs, being imperfectly perfect, and more. So I'm really excited to share this chapter with you guys. Now, as a reminder, Dietitian Side Hustle is available on Amazon. You can go to dietitiansidehustlebook.com, or you can just go to Amazon. You could buy the book in paperback, hardcover, Kindle, or you can go to Audible and get the whole audio version of the book on Audible. Now, I do want to say thank you to those of you who have already purchased the book. And a quick reminder, if you have purchased the book, do me a huge favor and go give me a review. That really helps. So, okay, you guys, I'm going to share it. But actually, before I do, if you're listening to this around live, as a reminder, the Side Hustle Accelerator program, I talked about that a couple episodes ago. But as a reminder, that is going live on February 16th, 2026. So be sure to go to katiedodd.com to register for that. And yeah, I'm going to drop in the chapter, but enjoy Chapter 2 of Dietitian Side Hustle. Chapter 2. Let's start with you and mindset. Be careful what you set upon your heart, for it will surely come true. Napoleon Hill, author. Start with why. The temptation of starting a side hustle is that we want to dive right in. Tell me what to do and I'll do it. Or, I need to start making money now. And do not worry, friends, I will tell you exactly what to do. But there's some important work that we must do before diving in the deep end of the pool. We have to take the time to build a solid foundation for your side hustle. You may have heard the parable of the sower, found in the Bible under Matthew 13. This story is about sowing seeds and making sure you plant your seeds in the right places. There are 4 scenarios given in this parable. Number 1, seed is scattered on a path where birds come in and eat up the seeds. The seeds never have a chance to take root. Number 2, seeds fall into rocky places where there's not enough soil for growth. Number 3, seeds fall into thorns and start to grow, but they're overtaken by the weeds. And number 4, finally, the seeds that fell on good soil, this seed produced an amazing crop. In this example, the seeds are your side hustle. What you sow your dreams into matters. It makes the difference between having no success, temporary success, or living out the dreams you have in your heart. The good soil in this parable is the contents of this chapter. We are making sure that you are sowing seeds in good soil. Do not skip this step. Most people will, but I think you're different. You're willing to do the work to yield the results. On a side note, I use the analogy of sowing seeds a lot in my business. There are so many great parallels between the two. Entrepreneurship is a different game. It's not like a traditional job where you get paid for every minute of work. In the beginning of any side hustle, you're sowing seeds. You're putting time in, but not seeing money yet. You don't see growth immediately when you plant. It takes time and intention. Many people give up too early. But when we understand that we are sowing seeds and that it takes time, we understand that it's worth the wait because the harvest that's coming will be so worth it. Okay, let's dive in. We are starting with why. Why? The why is the purpose, cause, or belief that drives every one of us. Simon Sinek, author. As you start this journey, it's important that your dreams are built on a solid foundation. That foundation is your why. Why are you on this journey? Why are your goals so important to you? Why do you even want to start a side hustle? I need you to understand that the journey of growing a side hustle will not be a straight climb to the top. You will be challenged, face setbacks, feel like things are taking too long, and have others question you. Heck, you might even start to question yourself. Most of you are working full-time jobs or multiple part-time jobs. Many of you have families. You have a life outside of the hustle. And life is just plain busy for all of us. If you're going to take extra time to build your side hustle, we need to make sure that you have a strong enough reason to stay in the game and remain committed when things get tough. Here's the thing. Life happens. Things we don't expect, things we didn't plan for, and things that can just take us out. If you want to start a side hustle, your why has to be strong enough to withstand anything that gets in the way. If your why isn't strong enough, your journey will end when things get hard. It just won't be worth it enough for you to stay in the game. You have to be all in, my friends. So how do you figure out your why? First, you need to figure out what drives you. What is most important in your life? What do you value? What are your priorities? Here's some examples of what might drive you. Relationships, future life, faith, health, the impact you want to make, a personal story, financial freedom, time freedom. What could this look like in a statement? Here are some examples of whys. I want to help inspire people. I want to contribute positively to the world. I want to make more money. I want to transition out of my traditional job. I want to make sure no one else ever experiences XYZ. I want to help people live healthier lives. I want to be able to travel the world. I want to live out God's calling for my life. I do want to add that there is no wrong why. It can be easy to compare ourselves to others. Let's not do this here. You are uniquely and wonderfully made just as you are. There are things that were put on your heart for a reason. If you want to make more money, there's no shame in that game. Something you could do is ask yourself why 5 times over, because there's always a deeper meaning to our why. Let me give you an example. Example of why times 5. Number 1, what is your why? I want to make more money. Number 2, why do you want to make more money? Because then maybe I can support myself and I can quit my 9 to 5. Number 3, why do you want to quit your 9 to 5? So I can have more time and flexibility. Number 4, why do you want more time and flexibility? Because I have 2 kids and I want to be home with them more. Number 5, why do you want to be home with them more? Because they're getting older so fast and I feel like I'm missing moments. I love my job and I treasure the season with my kids and I want to be there for the moments that matter the most. P.S. If you recall my story, this is one of my whys. Now, pay attention with me because I'm about to contraindicate myself. Hang in there with me. I did say there's no wrong why, but there can be a bad why. Let me give you some examples of bad whys. It worked for Karen. I heard you can make a lot of money this way. My, insert loved one's name here, said I should do it. This is more practical than my real dreams. A bad why just means you're not being your authentic self. You're playing too small. You're comparing yourselves to others, and you're selling yourself short of what you really want in your heart. This is not the solid foundation that I want you to start with. So let's get started with you figuring out your why. I've drilled down the importance of figuring out your why. This is one of the most important steps when starting a side hustle. If you don't know your why, you're probably not going to do the thing you want to do. So take some quality time to define your why. Write it down on paper. If this is your first time writing it, don't worry about writing it perfectly. You can revisit it and make improvements as you go. To start with digging deep, we are going to honor your journey, include the highs and lows of your life, and all the experiences that shape the person you are today. They are often the underlying base of your why. Step number 1, look back. Write down reflections of the highs and lows of your life journey. What have you struggled with? What have you overcome? What are some of the key moments that have made you the person you are today? Step number 2, look forward. Now envision what you want life to look like in 1 year, 5 years, even 10 years from now. What kind of person are you? Who's with you? What do you have? What do you do? What brings you joy? Step number 3, look within. Think about what drives you. What are the most important things in your life? What are your values and priorities? Who do you want to be? Why are you on this journey? Step number 4, what is your why? Based on your previous responses, what stands out? What drives you? Now draft your why. I have many whys myself. A big why behind Dietitian Side Hustle is that I have a heart for mentoring and building up other dietitians. Why? Because I have had incredible mentors who have supported me to get to where I am today. One of my first mentors was a professor at California State University, Chico, named Dr. Faye. She was a phenomenal mentor who helped mold me into the person that I am today. My experience with Dr. Faye and so many others touched me so deeply that it inspired me to give back to other dietitians and students and help build our profession. Now it's your turn. What is your why? You can see Appendix 1 to access the What is Your Why worksheet, and remember that you can access all of the worksheets digitally at dietitiansidehustlebook.com/worksheets. Value of vision boards. Vision is the art of seeing what is invisible to others. Jonathan Swift, author. Finding your why means uncovering what drives you. But the next question is, where are you going? What are you driving towards? Having a strong why is the first step in building our solid foundation, our good soil. Next, we need to have vision and figure out what we want. We discussed this a bit in a previous section on digging into our why. We'll discuss our goals and dreams in more detail in the future chapters. But I wanted to share the value of vision boards early on before we dive too deep. As I previously mentioned, you will encounter tough times on your side hustle journey. You will hit the point of failure and have the desire to quit. When you have a vision board, it is going to remind you every single day why you are on this journey. I made my first real vision board in June 2021. If you recall, I shared this in my story earlier. It included pictures of my family and ideals that I had. I found clip art to represent what I wanted. My why was the driver behind every item on this vision board. When I made this board, I put things that I wanted so desperately, even though they seemed impossible. One picture was someone submitting their letter of resignation. The one next to that picture was someone dropping their kid off at school in the morning. These were 2 dreams I had, dreams that felt impossible. Maybe in 5 years if I'm lucky, but probably not. Even though I doubted myself, I still dared to dream. I dared to envision what wasn't yet possible. I posted this vision board behind my computer in my home office. I stared at it every single day. It was a constant reminder of what I wanted and why I was working so hard on this impossible dream. Little did I know that just 6 months after I created this vision board, those 2 pictures I described would become my reality. I captured a photo of the moment I turned in my letter of resignation at the VA. I printed it out and pasted it over the clip art on my vision board. That crazy dream, I made it happen. After I left my traditional job, I captured a photo of the moment I drove my kids to school for the first time as a full-time entrepreneur. I printed it out and pasted it over my clip art on my vision board. Another impossible dream. I made it happen. I truly believe there is power in putting vision to the invisible. Instead of just thinking of a dream or a future you want, create a visual representation that you can stare at daily. Remind yourself of where you're going. Now, I make vision boards annually. Currently, I have 3 vision boards, all focused on different aspects of my life. One for my business, one related to my faith, and one that I created with my kids. We have our own family vision board, which includes bubblegum donuts, going on family vacations, and even getting a puppy. We'll see. But side note, as of this recording, we did get the puppy. I've always been a creative type ever since I was a kid. And I get it. Some of you might not feel the same way, and making a vision board might sound like a boring arts and crafts assignment. But I'm going to challenge you to do it anyways. You might be surprised what comes up when you let yourself dream a little. If you need some guidance on how to create a vision board, I can help you. First, you must dream up what you want. A good way to do this is to follow the acronym TIME in figuring out where you are now and where you want to be in 1 or 5 years. Dreaming in time. Time. How much time are you working per week? How much time do you want to be working? Impact. How much impact are you making now? How much impact do you want to be making? Money. How much money do you make? How much money do you want to be making? Experiences. What kind of experiences do you share with loved ones now? What do you want your experiences with loved ones to look like? You can see Appendix 2, access the Dreaming in Time worksheet. And again, as a reminder for everyone listening to this on Audible, go to dietitiansidehustlebook.com backslash worksheets to access all of those documents. So maybe you're working 50 hours a week and you want to be working 20 hours a week. You're only impacting a few hundred people a year in your job, but you want to impact and help thousands. You currently make $80,000, but you want to be making multiple six figures. And you have limited vacation time, but you want to go on monthly adventures with your family on your own time. Now, what pictures could you include for this dream? Maybe a calendar with 20 hours per week on it, thousands of people standing in a crowd, money in a bank, vacation spots you only dare to dream of visiting, photos of family members, inspirational quotes. You can cut and paste pictures from magazines to put a vision board together, or you can create a digital vision board, one that you can save to your computer desktop, screensaver on your phone, or print and view elsewhere. If you want a free template to create a vision board using the time method, you can visit visionboardtemplate.com. That's visionboardtemplate.com. Once you create your vision board, make sure it's somewhere that you can see it every single day. Remember, it's not set in stone, so you can always change it. But be sure to make sure that you are dreaming bigger and not smaller. There's so much value in creating a vision board, and I highly recommend adding this to your to-do list sooner than later. Identifying your strengths and weaknesses. Let's keep going. We started with why, talked about creating a vision. Now, let's look within you. We are all uniquely and wonderfully made. You are amazing, but you are not amazing at everything. And that's okay. We were not made to do it all. You are uniquely gifted in certain areas, things you can do so much better than I can. And there's things that are challenging and frustrating for you that maybe seem easy to me. We're all different. It doesn't mean better or worse. It just means different. When it comes to identifying the side hustle of your dreams, we have to make sure that it's a side hustle that's the best fit for you. The problem is, most of us have no idea who we are. We don't take the time to reflect on all of the amazing things that make us, us. This is an important step to make sure that you go down the right side hustle path. We don't want to create something that doesn't align with who we are. So we do this by identifying our strengths and weaknesses. And spoiler alert, weaknesses aren't bad. They're not a flaw in who you are. They're simply something that's not your strong suit. If we can really figure out your strengths and leverage them, it will be a game changer. Now, hard work doesn't have to be hard. In fact, when you find something you love and you're good at it, it often feels easy. This is likely your zone of genius, the thing that you're naturally good at and you're called to do. Let's build a side hustle around what you love. Our next step is to find our strengths. We'll do this by looking at your strengths and weaknesses because remember, weaknesses are not always bad. They're usually rooted in strength. To identify strengths and weaknesses, we are going to do the 10 by 10 by 10 exercise. I did this my final year of undergraduate school, and it was so powerful, especially for someone who thought weaknesses were flaws. We all have superpowers. The 10 by 10 by 10 exercises can help us to uncover them. To complete this exercise, you are going to write down 10 strengths, 10 weaknesses, and 10 strengths underlining those weaknesses. Say what? Remember, when I said weaknesses are usually rooted in strength, it's hard to see, but if you dig deep, it's there. Here's an example. Weakness, I am a people pleaser. Underlining strength of that weakness, I care deeply about others. The goal of the 10 by 10 by 10 exercise is for you to see your strengths and understand your weaknesses. Hopefully, you will allow yourself grace in accepting the areas which you are weak. Then focus on your strengths. The 10 by 10 by 10 exercise will be hard. You'll probably be wishing that I made it the 5 by 5 by 5 exercise instead midway through. But push yourself. Dig deep. See Appendix 3 to access the 10 by 10 by 10 exercise found at dietitiansidehustlebook.com/worksheets. Still struggling? I have another task for you. If you're feeling so bold to accept it, ask other people, those who know you well, what is your superpower? We often cannot see the greatness that others can see. In 2020, I posted this to my personal Facebook page. Quick question for those who know me pretty well, and thank you in advance for taking a moment to answer. If I asked you what you feel my unique ability, perhaps superpower, that I possess, what would you say that superpower is? The responses help me to see myself the way others saw me. Because let's be honest, our inner voice can be super negative. Some of the responses that I had to this post about my superpowers included: I think one of your superpowers is your infectious positivity and ability to go out and make things happen. Your transparency and strength. Organization, time management, and drive. Your kindness and eagerness to help people. Your ambition level and creativity. You simply exude positivity, a rare quality in this world. This helped me to see strengths I didn't quite see in myself. These strengths are now ones that I embrace and leverage in my own business. So take a chance and post this question yourself and wait and see what comes back. One final thing that you can do to understand your strengths and weaknesses better is to complete personality tests and online assessments that give you more insight to your superpowers. Recommended assessments include the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, Enneagram Personality Test, High Performance Indicator Assessment, and Positive Intelligence Saboteur Assessment. I understand the section will take a bit of time, but it will be so worth it. Limiting beliefs. We all have them. Your only limitation is the one which you set up in your own mind. Napoleon Hill, author. I was driving in my car listening to an audiobook by Napoleon Hill when I first heard this quote. It struck me so deeply that I pulled over in my car to write it down. Your only limitation is the one which you set up in your own mind. When I first heard this quote, I was only just beginning to dive deep into the world of entrepreneurship. But I knew that mindset was everything. What if this was true? What if the only thing limiting me was what I created in my mind? What if these beliefs that I held on to were holding me back from my true potential? On my journey, I've come to realize the difference between those who succeed and those who do not succeed all comes down to a battle of the mind. In the journey to pursuing your side hustle, your success is going to come down to a battle of you versus you. We often think it's our external circumstances that will get in the way of our success. However, it's more likely to be internal circumstances, the battle of your mind, of what you think you really can do. So the question is, what's holding you back? What's holding you back right now? And what will get in the way in the future? It all comes down to your beliefs, specifically your limiting beliefs, the thoughts that hold you back. We all have them. So let's dive into what they are and how to battle them, the you versus you. Tony Robbins provided my favorite explanation of limiting beliefs. He said, limiting beliefs are the stories we tell ourselves about who we are that hold us back from becoming who we are meant to be. These limiting beliefs limit us from reaching our full potential. Did you catch that? Limiting beliefs are just stories. What stories are you telling yourself? Are they stories that are holding you back? Or are they stories that allow you to reach your full potential? And if we're all just telling ourselves stories, why not make them good ones? Removing your limiting beliefs is going to be one of the best things you could do on your side hustle journey. Now, in order to remove your limiting beliefs, the first step is to become aware of the ones you currently hold. We all have limiting beliefs. They may be conscious or unconscious. You may be able to list 10 things right now that you feel like you aren't good at or couldn't possibly do. You can state the obvious ones, but it's usually the unconscious ones that will take us out, the limiting beliefs we didn't even know we have. So I'm going to encourage you to start listening to that still small voice in your head. Pay attention to the moments when your mind tells you you can't do something, or you aren't good at something, or never could do something. Pay attention to those statements. Write them down. Then look at the evidence. Is that belief really accurate? Another trick is to ask people closest to you what they think your limiting beliefs are. They can probably list a few you didn't realize you had. Okay, now let me share some examples, and then I'll share a story with you of a unique way I overcame a limiting belief. Examples of limiting beliefs. I can't dance. I'm not good at telling stories. I'm not a good writer. I'm not creative. I never follow through. I haven't been a dietitian long enough. I'm not the expert in that area. I'm not good enough. I'm too busy for my dreams. I always fail. I have to be perfect. I won't succeed. Do you resonate with any of these? Or perhaps all of these? And if you do, can you come up with a lengthy list of evidence that proves that you are correct in this belief? My friends, your brain is a liar. It can trick you into believing stories that aren't true. I hope by the time we end this section, you truly believe this. Now, I'd like to share a story with you. The first example on the list above, I can't dance, is where the story starts. In 2022, I received a message from a friend, Matt, which challenged my own beliefs. Matt runs a local not-for-profit that helps kids in medical need. Every year, this organization hosts a fun dancing competition to raise needed funds. Now, I love this organization. I attended this dance competition many times in the past. However, due to the pandemic, the show was not able to run for the previous 2 years. And this is why Matt was messaging me. The message started out with, "Good news, the event's coming back." Great. Then, Matt asked a question if I wanted to be a performer dancing in a hip hop squad. Heck no, I can't dance. Immediately, my mind started racing. I couldn't possibly join a hip hop squad. Matt didn't know this about me, but I couldn't dance. As long as I can remember, I've been telling people I can't dance. At this moment, my limiting belief alarm started wailing in my head. Could I really not dance? But had I ever really tried? Have I ever taken dance lessons? Perhaps this was a lie that I've been believing my entire life. Oh boy. Somewhere along this journey of my life, I picked up this belief and I held it tightly to my heart. But I realized this was an opportunity to challenge my own beliefs. Was this really a fact? Or a story that I made up in my own mind and reinforced with years of repetition? So after a 15-minute battle in my mind, I messaged Matt back. That sounds awful. I will do it. So I got to work. We had our first group meeting as a hip hop squad, and we went around the room sharing the "Why are you here?" icebreaker. And I realized that I was the only non-dancer in the room. Doubt was creeping in, but my newfound conviction was stronger. I practiced every day, over and over, to the point that I had bruises on my knees. I documented my journey on social media. I shared the journey as I challenged my own limiting beliefs. After weeks and weeks of practice, it was the big day. Adorned with stage makeup, glitter, and light-up shoes, I stood at the side of the stage with my hip-hop crew. The host announced our squad, and we took the stage. My friends, let me tell you, my brain was a liar. I could dance. And I danced my little heart out in front of hundreds of people for 2 shows. I even had a brief solo moment. My kids sat in the front row, and I've never been more proud of myself. If I listened to that voice in my head, I can't dance, I would have missed out on one of the best experiences of my adult life. Outside of having kids, of course. More than incredible memories, I did something more powerful that day. I won the battle of me versus me. I was empowered to learn that I could rewrite my own story, and that literally anything is possible. This is a belief that I continue to take with me as an entrepreneur. So, how do we actually overcome our limiting beliefs? Don't worry, you don't need to join a hip hop squad to do this. But maybe? We've already discussed step 1, uncover your limiting beliefs. But simply uncovering them isn't enough. We have to get rid of them completely. It's not a quick process, but you can get rid of them. After identifying your limiting belief or beliefs, the next step is to flip the script. What do I mean by flip the script? This means taking that limiting belief and flipping the belief to a positive. Something you can do, will do, and are doing. Flip it from negative to positive, from I can't to I can. Let me show you of how we can flip the script with the examples covered above. Examples of flipping the script on your limiting beliefs. I can't dance to I can learn to dance. I'm not good at telling stories, 2. I am a storyteller. I'm not a good writer, 2. I'm getting better at writing. I'm not creative, 2. I can be creative. I never follow through, 2. This time, I will follow through. I haven't been a dietitian long enough, 2. I am a dietitian. I'm not an expert in that area, 2. I'm becoming the expert. I'm not good enough, 2. I am enough. I'm too busy for my dreams, 2. I make time for my dreams. I always fail, 2. This time I won't quit. I have to be perfect, 2. I will strive to be imperfect. I won't succeed, 2. I will succeed because I won't stop. I want you to think of one limiting belief that you have, then flip the script. Write this down on a sticky note and post it everywhere so you see it every day. Keep telling yourself this truth until your brain finally believes it. Beliefs are just stories, so let's make them good ones. It's time to unlimit your beliefs and start dreaming bigger than you ever have before. The impossible really is possible, my friend. Be imperfectly perfect. We're getting ready to wrap up this chapter on mindset. Moving forward, I want all of you to expect greatness. Let's take a minute to talk about expectations. What are you expecting on your side hustle journey? Myron Golden, an amazing business coach, talks about expectation and how it connects to outcomes. What do we think is going to happen? If we expect an outcome to be undesirable, it leads to anxious apprehension. We're just waiting for the shoe to drop, for things to fall apart, for us to fail. And if we expect this to happen, then the journey to building a side hustle certainly will not be a fun one. Now, on the other hand, if we expect an outcome to be desirable, it leads to joyful expectation. We're excited for what's going to happen next. We know the journey may look different or may take longer, but we will make it to the other side. This makes the side hustle journey a joy. This is why I want you to expect greatness. I want you to enjoy your side hustle journey and never give up on your dreams. So let's talk about where that anxious apprehension comes from when we're expecting undesirable outcomes. This anxiety will stop us dead in our tracks, wasting current energy on things that would likely never come to pass if we simply took action. So where does that anxiety typically stem from? Perfectionism. I couldn't end this section about mindset without talking about perfectionism. I've worked with a lot of dietitians, and unfortunately, perfectionism runs rampant in our field. It often fuels our limiting beliefs and holds us back from our true potential. I am a recovering perfectionist myself. I used to wear perfectionism like a badge of honor. I saw it as my strength until I realized it was a weakness. Perfectionism leads to perfectionism paralysis. You get stuck. You can't take the steps you need because things just aren't perfect. You wait until everything is perfect to act, but then you never act because the truth is, things will never be perfect. In my world, we embrace the mantra, done is better than perfect. In fact, I encourage my students to be imperfect. It's in the imperfect that we can truly be perfect. What I mean by this is that imperfect is the goal. It's not what makes you perfect. Not getting everything right, but embracing the done is better than perfect mantra. Perfect is an illusion. It does not exist. None of us are perfect, and that's okay. But the more action you take, the better you will get and the closer to achieving mastery. So as we close this chapter, I want to encourage all of you to be imperfectly perfect. Understanding that side hustling and entrepreneurship is new. It will feel uncomfortable. It will feel like you are doing things wrong, but do them anyways. Action gets us closer to our dreams. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to know everything. So strive for imperfection and to be imperfectly perfect. As we continue on the side hustle journey, remember that it all starts with you and mindset. In this chapter, we discussed why, discussed the value of vision boards, identifying strengths and weaknesses, uncovered limiting beliefs, and explained the importance of done is better than perfect. I hope that you not only feel inspired and empowered moving forward, but you continue with your own mindset journey. It will truly make all the difference. You can find wonderful books on mindset in the appendix under Suggested Resources, Books. Guys, I hope that you enjoyed that chapter. As a reminder, you can find the book Dietitian Side Hustle on Amazon, on Kindle, on Audible. And for those who've already got the book, thank you so much. And as always, thank you so much for listening to the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast. I appreciate each and every one of you so very much. Be sure to head on over to katiedodd.com to learn more about all the ways we could work together. And I'll see you all next week on the podcast. Bye, guys.